We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education will tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. This is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good morning on the West Coast. Good morning in the mountain. Good morning in the central. Good morning on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Devana, your hostess with the mostest on the reparationist perspective. Bringing you those Black American Freedom Negro Hot Topic and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our folks, socializing our suffering. Happy Father's Day to your family. Thank you one and all for joining the live. Thank you. I see you, Malika Godson and Claude Nobles. Yes, FBA, B1, ADOS. Black American, African American is even ours, okay? Negro, Freedman. What a beautiful, glorious Sunday. I had to come on to you live because I was so inspired by the couple of assembly members in New York City putting in work to fight for lineage-based reparations. And I just had to memorialize it here. And then I had to talk up Juneteenth. I want to share some things about Juneteenth, and I want to just give honor to the fathers who refuse to give in, up, or out on their children, to give in, up, or out on the Black family, on Black love. I just want to celebrate you because you guys are our unsung heroes. And I understand the forces out here to just oppress our beautiful Black brothers. I overstand the agenda because he carries the seed to the line. So yeah, absolutely, they want to destroy the line, and I refuse it. So I'm going to uplift our brothers towards the end of the broadcast, just so you can know that I see you putting in work for Black love, for the Black family, for our Black children. And you are appreciated, and you will feel appreciated after this broadcast. So this broadcast is pretty much dedicated to the fathers, since y'all got to share your holiday with Juneteenth and everything else going on for the month. But I want you to know that this broadcast is dedicated to our beautiful brothers whom we love. Understand that we need you. Okay, we need you, and we need your love, and we need your seed to continue the line, because you already know they trying to genocide us with immigrants. So anywho, I'm not gonna try to go there. I'm gonna do my best not to have one of those kind of broadcasts. This is a happy, celebratory, victorious broadcast today, and I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. I want to welcome Twitter. I want to welcome Facebook. All right, family, let's get into it. I don't want to belabor it. Stand by. Let me bring up my first video that I got to see the full thing, and I was just properly impressed. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you, family. Let me get my glasses while I'm at it, so I ain't calling folks by the wrong name. That looks like Lisa something. I like that part. Stand by, family. Let's get into it. This is just so rich. I had to memorialize it here in a live because it just moved me in the seat of my soul. So let's start with our first video. This is okay. Hold on. New York Assembly woman Nikki Lucas putting in work for lineage-based reparations, and you got to see it here. Stand by. Let me share my screen. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Let me get that going. All right, stand by. Sharing my screen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. American freedmen, those persons who have at least one ancestor that was enslaved in the United States of America, who was emancipated in 1863 by way of the Emancipation Proclamation, or 1865 by the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, and have been despoiled their rights as citizens due to the badges, incidents, and vestiges of slavery. It is crucial to include the study of lineage-based reparations as the determining factor for eligibility within the community. It is important to note that the current version of the bill does not align with the principles of reparations and raises constitutional concerns under sections of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Furthermore, the lack of support from prominent grassroots reparations organizations in New York, as well as the absence of public support, is evident and will further divide the community. Additionally, this bill does not properly address the intended recipients of the bill, which is the community of eligibility, specifically the American freedmen, descendants of persons enslaved in America. The bill fails to recognize the unique history and suffering of this specific group, who have endured slavery, racial discrimination, and various forms of oppression for over 400 years in the United States. The foundation of the bill, as stated in paragraph 1, is flawed and unconstitutional. It acknowledges the injustice of slavery and discrimination against people of African descent, but does not accurately identify the targeted group. The vague and inaccurate identification of the affected population in the bill leads to the inclusion of individuals who do not share the same historical experience of slavery and its aftermath. The topic of reparations is a complex and sensitive issue, aiming to address historical injustices and provide redress for the descendants of those who suffered. However, it is crucial to approach this matter with fairness and a focus on rectifying specific harms endured by the affected communities. As discussions continue, it is essential to advocate for lineage-based reparations to ensure justice and equity for American freedmen who are direct descendants of enslaved individuals in the United States. Reparations should be targeted towards those who directly experienced harm and their descendants due to slavery and its enduring effects. American freedmen, as descendants of individuals who were enslaved, have a unique historical connection to the institution of slavery. They have inherited the consequences of centuries of oppression, discrimination, and economic disadvantage. Lineage-based reparations acknowledge this specific harm and aim to address it in a targeted and just manner. One of the central tenets of our Constitution is the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, which ensures equal treatment under the law. By studying lineage-based reparations, we align with constitutional principles, offering redress to those who have suffered from the historical injustices without discriminating against or excluding any racial or ethnic group. Reparations should focus on providing meaningful and impactful measures that address the systemic disadvantages faced by American freedmen by directing resources towards education, healthcare, economic opportunities, and community development. Lineage-based reparations can help break the cycle of intergenerational poverty and provide a foundation for upward mobility. Such targeted assistance acknowledges the historical and ongoing struggles faced by this community and seeks to rectify them. While it is essential to recognize the shared experiences of diverse communities, a broad approach could inadvertently divert resources and attention away from those who have borne the direct consequences of slavery and its aftermath. While it is essential to recognize the shared experiences of diverse communities, a broad approach could inadvertently divert resources and attention away from those who have borne the direct consequences of slavery and its aftermath. By focusing on the study of lineage-based reparations for American freedmen, we ensure that those who have suffered the most receive the necessary support and acknowledgement that they deserve. Receive the necessary support and acknowledgement that they deserve. In the pursuit of justice and equity, it is crucial to advocate for the study of lineage-based reparations, ensuring that the harms endured by American freedmen are specifically addressed by upholding constitutional principles, providing effective reparative measures, and preserving the integrity of the reparations process. We can lay the foundation for healing, unity, and a more equitable society. Let us work together to rectify historical injustices and forge a future that embraces justice, equality, and the dignity of all individuals. A rushed reparations bill for the sake of signing a bill is doing an injustice to everyone who has suffered due to the hundreds of years of slavery. A rushed reparations bill for the sake of signing a bill is doing an injustice to everyone who has suffered due to the hundreds of years of slavery. We must get this right. I am strongly suggesting that we include the study of lineage-based reparations to this bill. We take some time to review and get it right. We do not participate in a process that continues to ignore the history, the pain, and the suffrage of enslaved Americans, and ensure its integrity and effectiveness. And until that is done, I cannot, in good conscience, I cannot rush a bill. I cannot do an injustice for those and allow others to bear the pain, to bear the consequence, the fruits of those who have suffered. Do I want equity? Absolutely. Do I recognize the persecution of a people within the Americas? Yes, I do. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about reparations for an enslaved people who were robbed, beaten, raped. They don't have a flag to wave and go back to another country. Their history stops at a certain point where they can't even trace it. At some point, they didn't even have records of death. That happened here in America. And we want to deny just a targeted focus on a study that potentially repairs this damage. So if I come to this country and I came here 5 years ago, you're studying me too? Elon Musk is of African descent. Are we studying him too?
That was sheer fire, family. That was sheer fire. And that's what prompted today's broadcast. I thought I would take today off. Hold on, guys. Let me remove it. Just a second. Let me stop sharing that. Oh, God. Okay. It was fire. I mean, she touched on so many of the talking points because they are clearly in New York City that NARC and Cobra are seriously trying to all lives matter our reparations. And the fact that this beautiful sister came forward, oh my God, it just sent chills through me to hear her powerful voice standing up for what's right, which is lineage-based reparations. I remember this fight. And who knew that we would have to fight for our reparations to be lineage-based? You know, like, why should we have to fight for that? That should be a given. But these are the ethno-genocidal plans of the Republic. The government at every branch trying to pretend like they don't know who we are, trying to pretend that, you know, it's too hard to single us out, to directly deposit our checks. They know what will happen to the line if we don't get reparations. Okay? We will go the way of the Hispanic-looking Indians. Because, yes, we are indigenous to this country, too.
And that's another part of our history that has been removed and wiped out. I'm going to share this other brother's testimony, but I'm on the fence about his testimony. And I'll share why after I share it with you. But I do I really want to put it in here? That's what I'm struggling with. I think it's important because I think that I'm constantly in the space to educate. So let me share it, and then I'm going to share with you what, and you may be able to figure it out. You guys are so beautiful and brilliant. You may be able to get why I'm feeling a little on this particular brother's testimony. But let me share it, and let's talk about it. You guys keep the live lit. I see you, BB. I see you, Malika. I see you, Tanya. And who else is up in here chatting it up? Oh, where's that other? Taylor. All right, now. Y'all keep a lid over here. Let me share this next video so we can keep the broadcast moving along. Thank you for joining the live. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. And I want you guys, when you get an opportunity, a little bit of a call to action. I want you to please send a thank you letter, a thank you email. I'm going to try to find that sister's information so I can share it in the chat. Hold on one second. But her name is, oh, that's not it. Hold on, guys. Just a second. I want to tell you what her name is. Again, Nikki. Oh, well, that it's not coming up. Let me do that at the I don't know how I lost it that fast. I'm sharing it through my Gmail account. And so it's not populating. I want to say it was the Honorable Nikki. I can't recall what the last name was, but I believe we need to give her roses. And we need to send her emails to let her know what her strong testimony meant, what her fight for lineage-based reparations meant to us. Because, as I mentioned prior, who knew this would even be a fight? Like, it should not be a fight, but it is. And I never knew that we would have to fight our own Black immigrants whom we made a way to this country possible through our ancestors' heinous chattel slavery. They literally built this country with their very lives. And you've got Black immigrants and Pan-Africanists just doing all manner of things to co-opt and corrupt and sully our history and try to make it, they're trying to flat Blackness our history when they know better. They know that by and large, they weren't here until after the 65 Immigration Act. And so for us in the contemporary reparations grassroots movement to have to fight on this level just to get lineage-based reparations, and as you saw here in California, when we prevailed, Newsom came out within 12 hours on Fox saying he will not endorse cash reparations, sending a dog whistle to the legislature, you know, that they can all lives matter our reparations here in the state. But I'm still very, very proud of the contemporary reparations grassroots movement from all over the country that stood with us in the trenches at every task force hearing, on those calls, giving brilliant, beautiful testimony to help us get what is now a recommended cash repair for up to $1.2 million for Black American freedmen Negroes in the state of California. And this is what it takes. So shout out to Tony Blunt, I think Kimberly, Divine, I think Phyllis Coachman is out there. I'm not really sure. There are quite a few brothers and sisters whom were part of the former ADOS movement, putting in work under different monikers. And I'm certain it is their work that got to this beautiful assemblywoman to actually make the case for lineage-based reparations. You guys were here for us, and we will be there for you. You let us know, when your live call-ins are, and we'll be on the line to make the case for New York City Black American freedmen Negroes to get the reparations they are long overdue too. So let me share this next video and tell you what makes me a little about it. Well, I thought, hold on one second. Okay. Can y'all see that? I don't think so. Hold on, family. That's the wrong thing. Lord, I hope that didn't wipe out my video. Just a second, family. I got to pause it and start it from the top. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Just a second. I don't think y'all can hear that nor see it. Hold on. Let's try this one more time. Stand by, family. One more time. I apologize. Just stand by, family. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. We're going to try this again, family. My apologies. It's not really cooperating that well. Let me make sure y'all can see it before I play it. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to go smaller. Okay. And make this bigger.
Slavery is the cruel, unusual, and found. Mr. Speaker, today is a historic moment for Black New Yorkers and New Yorkers across this great state. We can no longer turn a blind eye to the history of anti-Black racism in our great state. We can no longer say that Black New Yorkers are state property. I'm no longer going to accept the concept that Black New Yorkers are state property. From Seneca Village, modern-day Central Park, to the African burial ground in Lower Manhattan, to Timbuktu, Mr. Speaker, in the Adirondacks, we must confront our history head-on, because if we fail to do so, we are doomed to repeat it. Slavery, Mr. Speaker, is no more than just America's original sin. Slavery is the cruel, unusual, and foundational system upon which our country was built on. The chairs that we sit in, the desks that we eat on, the file cabinets that we put our files in, even this very space that we stand in here today was built on slave labor. The Reparations Commission that we are placing together today, while not perfect, while does not consider many other aspects, it is our best chance to make sure that we can begin the conversations about repairing that harm. It will look at more than just slavery. It'll also examine the lingering effects of institutional slavery and discrimination on living people of African descent. This would include housing discrimination. This would include unequal pay. This would include discrimination, voter suppression, and police brutality. It's important to acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, that during the period of chattel slavery here in the state of New York, and a lot of folks don't want to talk about this, but people were beaten and had their names changed and had to live separate and apart from their families. Mr. Speaker, my last name is not Anderson. For every single lash that my ancestors had to take on their backs and were told to change their names, Anderson is not my last name, Mr. Speaker. All the accounts of pain and suffering for the shoulders of those ancestors who I stand on, whose name I now have to carry because it was assigned to me through beatings. Today is the first step in that conversation being mandatory here in the state of New York. A community of Black landowners whose land and livelihood was stripped away from them for pennies on the dollar, Seneca Village. This commission, Mr. Speaker, would ensure that we study how that happened and how we can make those families whole. One of a few African-American enclaves at the time, which was including Seneca Village, allowed residents to be able to rebuild their lives in the advent of chattel slavery. And it was ruthlessly built over and bulldozed for the benefit of a few. In the 1850s, Mr. Speaker, Seneca Village comprised of 50 homes, 3 churches, as well as burial grounds and schools for African-American students. This village meant so much to our people. This village is emblematic of the history of what it is to be a New Yorker, a Black New Yorker, having the little bit of what you have stripped away for the benefit of a few. Seneca Village also, Mr. Speaker, provided an escape from unhealthy and crowded conditions of the city and access to more space inside and outside the home. This legislature, Mr. Speaker, in 1853, enacted a law that would set aside 770. Across this great state.
Sorry about that, family. I don't know why it's suffering.
Turn mission, Mr. Speaker, would ensure homes, 3 churches, as well as burial grounds and schools for African-American students. This village meant so much to our people. This village is emblematic of the history of what it is to be a New Yorker, a Black New Yorker, having the little bit of what you have stripped away for the benefit of a few. Seneca Village also, Mr. Speaker, provided an escape from unhealthy and crowded conditions of the city and access to more space inside and outside the home. This legislature, Mr. Speaker, in 1853, enacted a law that would set aside 775 acres of land in Manhattan from 59th Street to 106th Street, between 5th and 8th Avenues, to create the country's first major landscape public park. The city acquired the land through eminent domain, taking it away, the law that allows government to take private land. There were 1,600 people living there, and although landowners were compensated, as I said, pennies on the dollar. And although there's much to be done, Mr. Speaker, and I use Seneca Village as an example as to why we need to do this here today, the commission is designed to move the needle forward as New York seeks to repair the systemic harms that have continued to this day. In closing, Mr. Speaker, reparations is not a dirty word. And I'm sorry for those who believe that reparations and repairing harm is a dirty word. Reparations, Mr. Speaker, symbolizes atonement, restoration, and justice. No more gaslighting. No more whataboutisms. When you have faced the lashes, the name change, the tearing up of your village, the destruction of property, the splitting of your families, when you have experienced that, come speak to me about reparations. But this is our time and this is our moment to repair the harm that has been done to our people for generations, Mr. Speaker, and for the ancestors whose shoulders I stand on today that allowed me to be the youngest, loudest Black voice in this chamber. It is critical and it's important that we do not stand in the way of healing the harm of our people. Mr. Speaker, I proudly vote in the affirmative on this bill.
Okay, family. My apologies for the buffering. I've got the highest speed internet in my home and I'm connected to the Ethernet cable. I'm not having bonnet Sundays for my boudoir the way I prefer. But, I've done everything I can on this end to ensure a smooth broadcast. But, hey, I can't control how the Ethernet chooses to behave. But anywho, I don't know if you guys picked it up between the first Assemblywoman and this gentleman. But I have learned in 2 years of task force hearings how to really listen with my third eye wide open. And what he is basically pushing for is to get the bill as it currently stands passed. But what the sister was speaking to was how she could not be in support of that because it does not represent lineage-based reparations. And so while the brother's speech at large was beautiful and powerful, when you've got Black American freedmen, Negroes, Pan-Africanists, riding hard for all Blacks to be repaired because of discrimination, first of all, that's not what reparations is for. Reparations is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives, which is the U.S. These Black immigrants and Pan-Africanists, if they want reparations for discrimination, they need to file their own suits, because that's not why we, Black American freedmen, Negro, and our allies came together as a contemporary reparations grassroots movement. It's almost as if the ancestors lined up everything in divine timing. Because if you notice, the Pan-Africanist version of John Conyers' bill that he gave to Sheila Jackson Lee, who is a Black immigrant, to quarterback, it sat collecting dust for 30 years. It wasn't until we started getting politically educated after Barack Obama came out against reparations that the dust was blown off of this HR 40 bull, and we, the grassroots contemporary reparations movement, before we really had our legs up under us, we transformed about 3 signatures to around 200 signatures on HR 40 before it was too late to overstand and understand
that they were setting us up in those edits on H.R. 40 from what John Conyers' bill once was to lose everything under H.R. 40. And so for this brother to speak so passionately about reparations, what's problematic is that he is setting us up to not get anything. When you pass a bill that includes all Blacks, you cannot get this passed at the Supreme Court level because not all Blacks in this country suffered U.S. chattel slavery. And I learned in a space with Divine Speaking that Jovan Scott Lewis, a Jamaican ally on the California Reparations Task Force, spoke with them. Dr. Shirley Weber, the author of AB 3121, the California Reparations Task Force bill out here, spoke to these very assembly members about how harmful the passage of the bill as it currently stands would be for Black American freedmen Negroes who, as I've shared with you on prior lives, are doing worse in the country our ancestors built with their lives than Black immigrants. Repetition is the key to learning. So let me run it for you again. Here in the state of California, you can look it up. It's a free PDF. The Color of Wealth, the LA Color of Wealth from 2004 to 2014, damn near 10 years ago, states that Black, they call it U.S. Black was 44% degreed to African Black, 54% degreed, and yet our median income was $53,500 at the time, 10 years ago, and their median income was around $130,000 if my memory serves me. This is what's happening all over the country. If you look at Boston, it's like the Black immigrants had a net worth of, I want to say, $1,700 to our $8. Don't quote me. The Color of Wealth is a free download for Boston, for California, and I think Florida may have one. But you've got to understand, and you've got to pick up what I'm putting down, that when you all Black Lives Matter this thing, we get nothing, because Chemerinsky told them, Jovan Scott Lewis told them, Dr. Shirley Weber told them, if you do this based on Black race, it will not stand at the Supreme Court level because they've gotten rid of our capacity to fight on behalf of Blackness in these courts. It's against the law. You can't do it. You must go about this lineage-based. It will not prevail. You see what happened with the Black farmers. I've shared with you guys in prior broadcasts. They were getting the least of about 20 billion. The whites were getting the most. Asians were getting, I think the Hispanics was getting 100 million. I think, I can't recall. It's in the archives. But the white farmers were getting the lion's share. Then the Hispanics, then the Asians, we were on the bottom. And this was that pandemic relief package that Joe Crow, All Lives Mattered, and the Black farmers did not fight for lineage-based repair to them specifically. They got into the All Lives Matter fight. And they're sitting up with $0.00 to this day. Because until you do it based on lineage, it can't get done. Another thing I noticed He never said freedmen. That is who we are. That is constitutional. All these other names that they threw at us was to mire us in confusion. Mulatto, colored, freedmen. They got rid of that. Then Negro, which is on my birth certificate. They got rid of that. Thanks to Barack Obama and Grace Ming. Talking about Negro was offensive on the census. And now that sets us up for another towering inferno that we've got to put out as the grassroots, fighting for our identity, fighting for each and every one of us to identify the way we choose, but definitely putting in our identifier, freedmen and Negro, because those are constitutional. That's where the money is tied to. The sister said freedmen. That brother never said freedmen. He said black. And so I'm on high alert when people speak, because all skin folk ain't for this reparations, and you have to understand why. Because capitalism requires a bottom caste. And this country decided long ago that we were it, and it puts us in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming permanent bottom caste. Even Hispanics 10 years ago were within $3,500 of U.S. Black California's median income at $50K, and we're only 17% degreed. And so what we've done in continuing this voting blue, no matter who, or withholding the vote, we've allowed them to take over, and now we have to beg them to do it the right way. We don't have the contemporary reparations grassroots movement in public office voting on these things. They're now the majority. And so out here, we were able to call in for what the assembly people are doing currently. We were able to stop a flat black repair based on discrimination. Nobody told the black immigrants to leave their country to come over here and build and supersede by design. They, just like these illegals, were given every opportunity with our reparations to do better than us. And some of them are so ungrateful that they tell us that we're lazy. They start to espouse these racist, Crayola, wanton, white supremacist, glacier donkey, anti-Black American freedman, Negro racist sentiment, and want to sit here and act like we haven't been pulling ourselves up by our bootless straps. They totally ignore the history. Totally ignore it to get in bed with Crayola, wanton, white supremacy, to keep us where? On the bottom. And so shout out to the grassroots movement all over the country putting in work. I see you, fam. And whenever you need me to call in to sound the alarm, because y'all know my testimonies are fire in the motherfucking hole. Okay? Y'all can just listen to some of my archives. You'll hear me going in. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to make some shorts, but on YouTube shorts, they only give me a minute, and I was born to talk. I don't know how to say nothing in those 60 seconds. With that being said, let me move the broadcast on. I want to talk with you about reparations, the Juneteenth, rather, okay? Because I've had some people coming for me, not many, okay? I want to share with you all. Hold on one second. I'm going to put some Juneteenth in here and tell you why you should gladly and proudly get out here and enjoy your Juneteenth. You know, some folks are fully invested in us being miserable. This was me yesterday after I got out my bonnet, y'all. Once I took my bonnet off and got my clothes on, I went over to the lagoon, and it was nothing but a sea of beautiful Black people. And it was just epic. I live, about a 20-minute walk to the beach from my home. Thank you, God. And so I decided, because my daughter and her boyfriend went before me, and they, of course, was ready to leave in 20 minutes. I said, if they are ready to leave in 20 minutes, that must mean it's lit for me. Okay. That must be what it means. So I decided to walk, get dressed and walk over there. And boy, I'm telling you, I had a wonderful time. The ancestors really was smiling on us, y'all, because the weather has been so overcast out here. Y'all, I'm glowing, but like my soul glow. The sun out here really penetrates, so I got my soul glow going. But the ancestors really shining on us, because we have been having June gloom practically all month. And I mean, it might be hot, but the sun is somewhere hiding out generally. Pretty much the whole month has been like that. But yesterday, that sun was out. It was nearing 80 degrees with the breeze by the water. I just felt the spirit of the ancestors there. And I enjoyed myself so much. I don't get into this selfie business, I just am not into that life. I'm just not. But I said, let me take a selfie and show the people how happy I am on this day. And I'm sharing this with you because it was an amazing time to see the children happy, to see the beautiful sisters in their beautiful dresses and in African garb, and to see the beautiful brothers out. It was a spirit and an energy of absolute love, from the sun beaming from the sky, from the breeze that came through to cool us off, from all the Black vendors. Nothing but a sea of Black folks, y'all. You'd be hard-pressed to find a white person at that event yesterday. There were a couple of Hispanics there, but they were kind. They were generous. They were giving. How can I help you? Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself? One beautiful Black Hispanic, Afro-Latina probably. I don't know. He's from someplace. He's from the darker side of our Hispanic brothers and sisters. But he was gracious and good to look at and just accommodating. The love, the love, the love. I love the music that the DJ was spinning in between acts, because there was none of this foul language that is tearing us down and debilitating us as a people. It is as oppressive as a lot of the lamestream media, as the lamestream Hollyweird. None of that. It was all that great old school kind of music, from the hip hop to the R&B classics, family. We were out there doing our line dances, and I mean, it was something to behold. Kelly Price, who almost died from OVK. One lung was completely collapsed. The other lung was damn near 90% collapsed. She was fighting, like she testified, just to be able to talk. And here she was singing like she never missed a beat and giving glory to her inner Christ. So it was that kind of time, and I shared the post on Twitter, and some idiot wants to come for me about the commercialization of it all, and how, I'm sure, the U.S. economy appreciates us going out here wasting money on such a frivolous, meaningless holiday. Let me tell you something, family. The event was free, which means the city taxes paid for it, which means predominantly whites and immigrants paid for this Juneteenth festival. Everything was Black. I can't say everything was Black American Freedman Negro, but from what I could observe, based on appearances, it was. The vendors, all Black. Not one Hispanic, not one immigrant. Well, it could have been some Black immigrants. I don't know. I didn't go around asking people, are you Native? Are you foundational? I didn't do that. But when I say the vendors were blessed, I mean folks was out spending what money they had for food and clothing items and jewels and all kind of manner of things. Everybody there was Black. The energy was blackity black, black, black. Now, I'm going to definitely reach out to the creators of the event to let them know that red, black, and green and yellow ain't us, okay? That's not us. So I want you to look for events that are conscious like you are. Don't allow people to keep you in a perpetual state of rage. That's what this message is really about. For once, not for once, I have a lot to be happy for, family. I have a lot to be thankful for, to be grateful for, and you do too. It's been a real challenge for me to be in this fight and not allow this fight to be in me. I want y'all to work on that because we can't make even Juneteenth, which our ancestors fought and won our emancipation. We can't make the commercialization of this prevent us from enjoying a day to celebrate and honor the very ancestors who either were here or made the trip over, okay, on these slave ships. That did happen. I know folks is trying to erase the history and pretend like we didn't have the transatlantic slave voyage. I believe that's a part of the trauma. Y'all don't want to accept that. But we are of the strongest ancestry in the world to have survived what we have been through and to continue to survive it. You deserve to go out here and celebrate that you are wired like your ancestors. You refuse to give in, up, or out on your line. You're towing the line. You're getting educated politically. You're being radical. I see you out here invoking my Freedmen protest voter strategy. I see you doing it, family. And I'm so proud of you. And I don't want anyone to sully what this holiday truly means for foundational Black American freedmen Negroes. Never forget. And that's the beauty of Juneteenth and why they fought so hard to have it be national, so that we would never forget. And they were setting us up to get reparations. So now you've got this focus on Juneteenth. Folks that never even knew about Juneteenth are now having to learn about Juneteenth. And in learning about Juneteenth, they learn about the history because we've got to teach them the history. We've got to get with the folks that are out here coordinating Juneteenth to make sure our flags are represented and to talk about our flags and to get up there and talk about the history. We got to teach the children because while at this event, the beautiful flags that we're waving were not our flags. So it's time for us to do for reparations to do for Juneteenth what we did for reparations. We've got to project Take That Over. That's another project. All right, with that, I just wanted to say, don't let people down your high about your people's contribution, because they're choosing to all lives matter it. They're choosing to distort the history. I don't even know they know the history, y'all. I'm just finding out. So let's not assume that they're doing it in a nefarious way. They clearly don't know. And so it's time for us to take that over, family. Thank you for allowing me to share that. Let's go next. We're still on Juneteenth, and then I'm going to do some Father's Day tribute and pray us out. Let's see here. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications while I set up the next thing I want to talk about. It's all on reparations, okay? I'm sorry, it's all on Juneteenth, this particular segment. CNN, can y'all just let me live? So I'm going to keep that flag up there while I talk on the other feed. Happy Juneteenth, family. Lord is slow, y'all. My apologies. Come on. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The Juneteenth flag is full of symbols. Here is what they mean. So, you might see another red, white, and blue flag flying this weekend over state capitals and city buildings. That banner with a bursting star in the middle is the Juneteenth flag, a symbolic representation of the end of slavery in the United States. Symbolic being the operative word, family. Anywho, the flag is the brainchild of activist Ben Haith, founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation, that's the NJCF. Haith created the flag in 1997 with the help of collaborators and Boston-based illustrator Lisa Jean Graff brought their vision to life. The flag was revised in 2000 into the version we know today, according to the National Juneteenth Observation Foundation. 7 years later, the date, June 19, 1865, was added, commemorating the day that Union Army Major General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and told enslaved African Americans of their emancipation. For 2 decades now, communities around the country have held flag-raising ceremonies on Juneteenth in celebration of their freedom. Quote, "This country has so many aspects to it that are spiritual, and I believe this flag is of that nature," Haith said. It, the idea for the design that is, just came through me. Designing the flag and its symbols were a deliberate process, Haith said. Here's what each element of the flag represents. The white star in the center of the flag has a dual meaning, Haith said. For one, it represents Texas, the Lone Star State. It was in Galveston in 1865 where Union soldiers informed the country's last remaining enslaved people that under the Emancipation Proclamation issued 2 years earlier, they were free. But the star also goes beyond Texas, representing the freedom. Lord have mercy, these pop-ups. I'm sorry, y'all. I was in my flow. Representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. I'm going to repeat that. The star also goes beyond Texas, representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. The burst. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova, a term that astronomers use to mean a new star. On the Juneteenth flag, This represents a new beginning for the African Americans of Galveston and throughout the land. The arc, the curve that extends across the width of the flag, represents a new horizon, the opportunities and promise that lay ahead for Black Americans. The red, white, and blue represents the American flag, a reminder that slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. June 19, 1865 represents the day that enslaved Black people in Galveston, Texas became Americans under the law. And while African Americans today are still fighting for equality and justice, Haith said those colors symbolize the continuous commitment of people in the United States to do better and to live up to the American ideal of liberty and justice for all. That's beautiful, family. And it is so awesome and rich to know its true meaning. And I wanted to commemorate that here so that you can share with your family and loved ones and your friends what it's really truthfully all about. And this is the conversation we've got to have on every Juneteenth stage in the country. We must teach the history. We must teach it at every chance we get. So with that being said, I want to talk about another flag I just learned about. And these two seem to go together. Stand by. Let me share my screen. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Thank you for joining the live. If you feel so compelled, bless the broadcast through the Cash App, not the, what's it called? Super Chat. They're not giving the monies over from that. I don't know why. I have to research. But the Cash App is scrolling in the bar below if you feel so compelled. Okay, so let's share this other flag. Stand by. Now, this is our other flag that I am really just, I've been seeing this on a lot of what the grassroots reparations movement shares, but I really don't know its origins. You see, when I was growing up, my dad always dressed us on Independence Day in the red, the black, and the green. I remember my math teacher, Mr. Leslie, sending me to the office because I wore my natural and my red, black, and green dashiki for some type of Independence Day we were celebrating at the school. It was an early celebration. And of course, the children were asking what it represented. My understanding was that red was for the blood and black was for who we are as a people, and green was for the land that we built and shed blood for. And so I never understood its Pan-Africanist origins. And let me help you with something. I have nothing against immigrants. I have nothing against Pan-Africanism. My challenge is when you get in the way of business between Black American freedmen, Negroes, and this government for the debt that is owed. Or you get in the way of our survival. I've got to teach to vote against you becoming American before we are made whole. We've been waiting for 500 years. Y'all just got here, okay? So please, I don't disparage the red, black, and green flag, the red, black, green, and yellow flags. I just want, if we're going to do a national holiday, for the proper flag that represents us to be the mainstay on a bunch of these stages. And this one looks like it has a place in our hearts as well. So I want to look up its meaning, Black American Heritage Flag, and memorialize it here. I hope y'all can see that. Wait. Okay, great. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to another. Oh, God. Hold on. I don't see the blue. There it is. Okay. Black American Heritage Flag. Oh, I had it up. Here we go. Okay. This Black American Heritage Flag, hold on one second. Okay. Just a second, family. So the Black American Heritage Flag was created in 1967. So it appears even older than the Juneteenth flag, right? Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson decided to create the Black American Heritage Flag during the Civil Rights era as a symbol of the struggle of their race and the pride that developed as a result of it. The designers, the late Melvin Charles and the late Gleason Jackson, designed the Black American Heritage Flag in 1967. Hold on, family. I want to see if I can blow it up some more. Just a second. I like a good visual. You guys know me. Okay, back to the text. Well, where'd it go? Here we go. The late Melvin Charles and the late Gleason Jackson designed the Black American Heritage Flag in 1967. The purpose of the flag is to convey and represent pride in the history of Black Americans. The Black American Heritage Flag is a representation of the pain remembered from the degrading days of slavery to the undeniable contributions of Black Americans to the history of the United States. The flag, according to the designers, the elements of the flag include the color black to represent pride and pigmentation and race, red to remind us of the rich blood Black men have shed for freedom, equality, justice, and human dignity throughout the world, and gold to represent intellect, prosperity, and peace. These colors are woven into a composition that juxtaposes the red and the black in a set of 3 stripes. One black stripe centered between 2 red. Superimposed on the black stripe is a golden wreath of fig leaves. The cultivated fig is a native of Africa. Y'all thought it was the Greeks. And ranks as one of the most ancient of life-sustaining fruits. Centered within the golden wreath is a blunted Moorish boarding sword, symbol of leadership carried by the great Moorish leaders of the 8th century. The sword represents the strength and authority exhibited by a Black culture that made many contributions to the world in mathematics, art, medicine, and physical science, heralding the contributions that Black Americans would make in these and other fields. Okay, so I'm going to share this link so you can go over here and bless their site with a purchase. Well, stand by. Okay, let's put that in the chat. All right, all right, all right. We're just learning and growing and evolving and discovering the hidden history of Black American freedman Negro in this country. It's beautiful. It's rich. I'm having a great time with this particular segment, and I hope you are too. Where am I at? 10:15. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So let me go here just a second. So I want to remind you guys. Let me share. Hold on. I want to do a commercial for ETM Media Group's documentary so you guys can purchase the stream, which I think will be given to you tomorrow. It's only $4.99. You can have the link to view the entire documentary. Let's do a commercial for them. Hold on. In case you missed it yesterday, I'm going to share their link below. And then we'll do the tribute to the dads and pray us out. Hold on. This is not a long video. It's just a commercial.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have Black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay?
Come on.
You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and Black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations.
They had no idea that church I was running by every day was something my grandfather established.
This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total Black population in California is about 2.6 million. And then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know, but I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Overnight, it's like, oh, it's no longer the quarters, now it's Lincoln Heights. Oh, so now we get to use Abraham Lincoln for our name. And you see about all the other people that they could have used, but they picked Lincoln. And I think that's sort of a stereotypical of what they do.
There wasn't any Black restaurants. As far as Black business and weed, it wasn't none.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically Black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Why has it been easier for other groups than us?
Because of anti-Black hatred.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR rules, don't tune in.
Well, family, let me share their link for you to go and order your live stream for only $4.99, y'all. Umoya and Kim Mims are giving it away, basically. So the way we keep our history is alive is not through a CRT. The way we keep it alive is to keep it alive ourselves. And that's what they have beautifully done in this particular documentary. As I mentioned prior, I had the luxury and the privilege of, did I paste that? Okay. I had the luxury and the privilege of a private screening for those of us who were featured in the documentary. And it just made me bursting at the seams. Very, very proud of ETM Media Group. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to their channel as well. With that being said, it's time for the tribute to our dads. It's not going to be long, but I've got a visual and I want to cite a poem for you brothers who are holding it down for the Black children, for the Black family, for Black love. Those of you that ride hard for it, because there's a lot of nefarious forces out here that is speaking against us loving each other. And I'm here to bury that notion. Black love will always be alive and well, the way I see it. And we may have our challenges, and we are now, because of this mass media effort in the music, in the films and TV, we are now trying to find our way back to each other. But we need each other. And our brothers take the biggest hit out here. And when you open up your third eye, you will come to understand and overstand why. It's because they carry the seed to the line. You kill off the Black man through all these tactics you've got designed to bury him, then you bury the line. So we need to tune out from these vloggers that are disparaging Black women and that are disparaging Black men. And we need to be fully invested in understanding and overstanding each other and our plight so we can make our way back to one another and keep the line going. You're not Black if you are laying with other women and producing biracial children. Those are not Black children, those are biracial children. And they'll be the first to tell you that. So while the men are out here being passport bros and buying into the media hype that other races of women are far more beautiful than the original woman, know that that's decreasing the line. That's how we minimize the line between that and abortion. It's killing the line. So we need our brothers to get back to the truth of who our sisters really are, and we need our sisters to get back to the truth of who we know our brothers to be, because we truly need each other. Let me share. Hold on one second. Let me share this visual. I got to narrow this just a second, family. And then I'm going to read a nice little poem. Okay. Stand by, family. Let me make sure you can see it.
Hold on. I got a poem I want to read. He is Father. He is the shine in a little girl's eyes, the icon of a son in the mirror, a husband to his woman, a provider and a leader, the endearing traits of a real man personified in how he lives. He is the strength of the family unit, the shelter in a raging storm, a patriarch to the ancestral tree. His seed produces legacies to carry on his dynasty. He is stability in the midst of adversity. He rules with a gentle hand, teaches his daughter how to be loved, to accept nothing less than a true man. He instills pride in his son to be the best man that he can be. Once a year is not enough to give credit where it is due. He is a monumental influence to the innocence of youth, a consonant pillar of masculinity without a heavy hand as proof. If you had to measure a man in all he says or does, it is in the path he chooses to follow. It is the fruits of his wealthy spirit that makes him so unique. It is he, a father, the qualities of a hero unsung, 365 days of the year. On this special day, I salute you, fathers. Happy Father's Day to all the brothers who refuse to give in, up, or out on their children. You are appreciated. Love and respect. With that being said, family, let me, while I have that up, I want to give our spiritual treatment and pray our prayer of protection. Let's see here. You know what I want to do first? I'm at 10:28. Let me come over and see what you guys are saying. I didn't get to do that yesterday. Hold on. Let me see here. Stand by. Okay. Let's keep that up. I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here so I can talk to the family. I'm just going to share pertinent comments so I can get this done under 2 hours, or at least by 2 hours. Let's see here. Okay, so BB says, yes, New York and New York City were slave trafficking colonies from 1593 to 1865. The Dutch owned New York before they intimidated strong-armed out New York, and the British took over. Then the generational Americans. Thank you for sharing that, BB. Lots of people, still don't know the history of Northern slavery, the West enslavement out here during the gold rush in California. They don't know the history. And this is something that we've got to teach. We must teach it. Keep it alive. Pass it down. Because I don't know about you, but they've never taught me my history in school. My daddy taught me my history. She goes on to say, Sojourner Truth was born enslaved in upstate New York, 1.5 hours from New York City. Let's see here. Thank you, Angela, for showing us this video. You are so welcome again, Malika. Thank you so much for joining the live. I do believe you were the first in the queue this morning. Thank you, my love. Sojourner Truth was an original reparationist prior to Cali House. She demanded our reparations for freedmen slaves living in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Thank you for the rich history. Thank you. Tanya goes on to say, I love that she called us American because I am American Indian, not African at all. Beautiful, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining the live. We've got a lot of indigenous Black Americans, or as you call it, American Indian. Yeah, that's a history that's rarely ever taught, Tanya. So thank you for sharing. BB, let's be nice. This live is for everyone, okay? I know that Tanya, forgive us, sometimes we get very territorial because lots of people have been taken care of by us, and it's time for us to talk about us. You know, many of us don't really know our lineage. We were robbed of that. So lots of us are just now putting the pieces together. You don't know what to believe. I mean, my ancestry puts me out of my ancestry DNA claims that, you know, I'm from Benin, which was formerly Dahomey, you know. So who knows? But I do know that I've got Indian in my line, okay? So they enslaved us too. So it's all over the place. So BB, calm down, my love. Everybody's welcome here. As long as you're polite and you don't come over here to traumatize Black American freedmen Negroes, you're welcome in this space because you could very well be an ally. So she's welcome. And I appreciate you too. I do have a Twitter. I am the Reparationist Perspective over there, Tanya, if that's what you're talking about. I think it was the Honorable Nikki Lucas. I think you're right, Malika. Thank you for paying closer attention than me. I'm operating on a little bit of fumes. I couldn't even recall her last name. After just seeing her speak, I was so enamored with her speech. I believe that we owe Nikki Lucas a ton of email. A ton of email. That's a call to action to thank her for rolling with us in a beautiful, brilliant, exemplary way in the fight in New York City for lineage-based reparations. Hi, Claude. The universe is on our side. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. BB says, because those folks claiming they Africans or Caribbean ingrates, along with delusionist freedmen descendants claiming false lineages, must be removed from the list of checks to be issued. BB. Okay. You see, I can't even condemn you because I am just, well, I may not be as disparaging as you, but I am definitely just as passionate as you. Listen, family, what we're fighting for is for cash for those of us who have been neutralized economically because of our lineage.
That's why we're fighting for lineage-based reparations, okay? But other blacks will benefit from other things, like an anti-black hate crime bill is definitely needed to wrangle in the state-sanctioned executioners in the form of race soldiers and the deputized. We need protections against that because, first of all, let me speak a little bit on that. The reason why we've got so many Crayola wanton white supremacists leading the charge in the police force is because that's exactly who they're hiring. They're hiring the KKK, the Proud Boys. I can't think of the name of all these other white domestic terrorist groups, but they're hiring them. And so when we're out here fighting for protections, how about the first fight be to make it against the law to hire people with these kind of records? Y'all can call us a whole Black American terrorist group for speaking up and out against institutional systemic racism. Y'all can find me and y'all can shadow ban me. Y'all can shut down my race book for educating the people about the demon rats. Y'all can do all that. But you can't pass a George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, and you can't put laws in place to make it against the law to hire these groups, and you can't label them domestic terrorists. I see straight through the bull. But yeah, so I don't even know how I got over there, y'all. I'm a little sleepy. I think I'm going to go back to bed after this. My daughter is at another reparations. Not another reparations, I'm sorry. She's at another Juneteenth festival. And she's out there helping her little sister friend who has her own business. And I'm loving this because my daughter's major is entrepreneur with a major in marketing, minor in entrepreneur. This is rich that these two young, beautiful sisters are out here selling their waist beads. And now my daughter is talking on, making sure she's got items to sell at next year's Juneteenth. And of course, I'm helping her in that, but it's a beautiful thing. So that's how I was able to come to you live today, because she's not here. She was expecting a company to spend the night. They didn't spend the night. And so, yeah. So I'm a little sleepy. So if I'm a little slow, it's because I need to go back to sleep. I got up at 6 this morning. Let's see. What's it say? It's time out for all of this studying. Nobody's in school. Pay your reparations debt to FBA Americans and stop being a damn hypocrite. I'm with you on that. Okay, right. Let me hold on, y'all. I need my glasses for real because I don't like botching people's names because I don't like mine botched. Stand by. Oh Lord, I got a million glasses. Can't find a pair, y'all. Let me struggle through. I don't want to be too. I want to use the time to read the comments. Those are big enough. If I botch your name, forgive me. But I really want to take these last 30 minutes to get through as many comments as I can. And I don't know where my purse is. It's buried under something. Oh well. Let me keep going. Angela, they hear money and that's why they want it to be all inclusive. Absolutely, fam. It's not just the money. Like, there is a whole agenda to keep us bottom caste, and our vote keeps delivering that bottom for us. When we vote Demon Rat, we're literally voting for our erasure and replacement with them. They occupy the majority of the seats, I do believe, on the CBC. They're scrubbing their identities so that you don't know their origins. And so these are the very people like the Sheila Jackson Lees who are standing in the way of us getting cash repair, like the Narcson and Cobras, who are Pan-Africanist organizations who want whatever cash repair comes of these reparations fights, they want it to funnel through them. We'll never see a dime. So it's all about them setting themselves up to do two things. If money is attached, for them to control it and we never see a dime. And if they can't get money, they don't want us to have any at all. They want it to fail at the Supreme Court level, where it will be challenged based on race. So you're absolutely correct. It's all about the Benjamins. That part ain't nada to study. The economist and scholar and sociologists, both black and white, have written the extensive reports. Numbers are documented. Yes, BB. They like to pretend like they don't know what the debt is, but they absolutely know what the debt is and who we are. Oh, okay. Maybe she wasn't, Tanya wasn't speaking of me. Maybe she's looking for Nikki Lucas's Twitter. Well, she's an assemblywoman, so she has to be able to be found. Maybe I'll take a minute to try to see if I can find her email. The intelligence here is a moth to a flame. Wow. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you, Claude. Thank you for joining the live. And thank you for your comments. I see you over on my Reparationist Perspective channel in YouTube, where I blog a lot because I'm not able to come live as often as I once did, given that I'm back in the office. But I thank you so much for always having something beautiful to share over on my blogs. My blog posts. Thank you. Slavery was extended in the U.S. from Emancipation Proclamation 1865 to 1923 under many other names. Oh, honey, slavery exists to this day through the private prison industrial complex and the preschool to prison pipelines, okay? It never went away. It does keep morphing into other names. That's why I'm fighting for reparations that include slavery, not just slavery, but Jim Crow and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. For as long as we can continue to be oppressed in this country, is for as long as you should have to pay. That's the type of reparations I'm fighting for. New is one of the places that did receive actual Africans from Africa. I don't know what that means. New, N-E-W. Seneca Village were indigenous Americans. Okay, well, I have to research that. I know they were formerly enslaved, so I believe that indigenous Americans and those that came on slave ships were both enslaved. Not only Seneca Village, but Claverack, Kinderhook, places in Long Island, New Jersey, etc. Wow. My ancestors are from Skunk Hollow, New Jersey, and New York. I've been applying pressure to the New York governor for lineage-based cash reparations for months. I thank you. Looks like Knockerball. I thank you for your fight. Stay in it, fam. You have to understand. This is not this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So even though Newsom is pushing back on cash repair, it doesn't mean that we quit fighting. It doesn't mean that we don't weaponize our findings, since you want to get us distracted on a 2-year study while you give away our reparations and protections to illegals. We had a $95 billion surplus when we started the study. Why do we have like a $40 billion deficit now? Because they've been spending this reparations quick, fast, and in a hurry on these illegals. So you can't give a damn about what they say about it. If they kick it down, we put it back up. We have to be in this fight not only to procure cash reparations, but to keep the gate up. Once you get in this fight, you're in this fight until your last breath. And then before you die, you have to teach your kids to pick up the mantle. It saddens me that so many freedmen descendants are deliberately forgetting their families' recent Holocaust. Shameful. Grateful that you are aware. Salute, dear. Yeah, I call this our never-ending Holocaust, okay? I call this our never-ending Holocaust because it never ends. But people are waking up, BB. They're waking up, and guess what? You, me, those in the chat, those in the new black media, even though I don't agree with them teaching no tangibles, no vote, as if we haven't been doing that, which is why we don't have tangibles. Anyway, this advent of the social media has worked wonders to make our messaging go viral. So be inspired, be encouraged, fam. We are on the right side of history. It's a wonderful feeling. And the people are grateful for it too. Malika hit it on the head. They are too afraid and heartbroken. They are just trying to survive. I hear you though, sis. Yes, we are in the middle of a towering inferno. We've got so many issues and so many fires to put out. We don't have critical mass in this fight yet. So we can only focus on one thing at a time while needing attention on all of it. Overworked, underplayed, most unemployed, most homeless, most being evicted. Come on. It's a lot of trauma. So we do have to be patient, and we have to love people through this, okay? That's what we're tasked to do. At Malika, the broken part I get, the broken heart part I get. However, we can no longer not face our brutal, tortuous fact that's still affecting us. Hi, Martin Norwood. Thank you for joining the live. Lovely. However, New York is a haven for Narcan and Cobra, and with the large Black immigrant population, I feel it will usher in all-inclusive bottom line in opposition to lineage-based policy. Martin, and you are right to be afraid, but you must get with Tony Blunt and Divine in New York, and you can write me at therepperspect at Gmail. Let me see. I would love to put you in touch, and those of you who live in New York, with these brothers leading the charge, because you're absolutely right, Martin. It is a tumultuous task, but this is what happens. When you're not at the table, you're on the menu. This is what happens when you continue to vote based on identity politics, respectability politics. And this is what I'm talking about when you don't weaponize the vote. You leave the fate of the lineage for closed border candidates, you leave the fate of our line in the hands of immigrants who seek to replace us and Crayola wanton white supremacists who seek to erase us. I'm undergoing the same thing out here. Instead of black-faced immigrants telling us no and co-opting our entire lineage and repair, we got white-looking ones. We barely have any black in our legislature out here. We don't have, we may have 4 black representatives out here in California. The rest are white and Latina and Asian, and I think it's mostly white and Latina who identify as white. They're white Latinas, okay? They identify as whiteness. So this is what happens when we don't control our own politics. It makes the fight that much harder. That's why we need to run for office, local, state, county, and federally. That part. We must go up against those December 12th frauds. They in Cobra panties must not be tolerated, nor should they be the voice of freedmen descendants. Absolutely. Y'all got to lean in, as we did. You got to fight with everything in you. That is why we have to push back and ensure it's lineage based. As Angela is saying, it's about slavery and the suffering of us, not others, even if they look like us. Correct, love. Hi, Queen Yasmin. Welcome to the live, my love. I'm a freedman descendant, DMV, 1862 to 1864, both my third great-grandparents freed from their white slave trafficking owner fathers. Wow. We have no boots nor straps. All we've been allowed to survive is scrapes. We are not living, we are merely surviving day by day. Yes, fam, that's why I call it bootless straps, to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps. We are in survival mode, and it's looking bleak. And if we don't do right with my freedman, Black American Freedman Negro protest voter strategy for closed border candidates, party be damned, it's the end of the line. What we will have successfully done is allow Joe Crow and his administration to deliver about 30 million more immigrants, citizenship. And what you see happening all over the country, which happened in New York and California first, you see it happening in Chicago, Detroit, North Carolina, Maryland, excuse me, y'all. You see it happening all over the country. It's really, really bad. And I sound the alarm for as long and as hard as I could. And I'm going to continue to through 24. But after 24, it won't matter if we don't get it right. It won't matter. If we don't go out here and vote closed border candidates, it's a wrap. Alexa, play Healing My Soul. Healing for My Soul. Yes. Kelly Price. Love Kelly. She brought me through in 2000. Bless her heart. I love seeing her up there doing her thing after having a near-death experience during the pandemic. We are survivors of the betrayed, trafficked, enslaved Africans. Never repeat. Amen to that, sis. Always dropping that fire.
I see you, The Rock. Happy Father's Day to you. Angela, has the OMB made a decision on our delineation yet, sis? No, I think it's coming up, though. Either the later part of this month or in July, but I'm going to bring it to you here. I'm going to let you know about that. She was talking about the negative talk from those who are not from here, but look like us, and other topics in comparison. Okay. When they get get diarrhea at the mouth and are benefiting from what they didn't build. Oh, you're talking about the folks in there fighting for race-based reparations? Yeah, that's our vote. Hard at work to genocide us. Armageddon, I see you, fam. Trey Lincoln, what's going on, my love? New York City schools keep my slavery under wraps. Yes, Malika, that's all over the country. It's not just New York City, beloved. It's all over the country. That's why we've got to learn our history. Not all of the books are banned. Listen, I know they're banning books in the prisons, but out here, my whole library is full of books about our history. And my daughter is conscientious as a result of it. But my father taught me my history. I didn't look to these glacier donkeys to teach me nothing. That was my father's doing. And I was blessed that I grew up in an era with Black American Freedmen Negro teachers. Can you imagine what our kids are undergoing right now? It's just abominable and atrocious. I was able to trace my people here. AL, does that stand for Alabama? All the way, no, all the way back to the 1600s. Awesome. Through paper, do your genealogy. My bloodline, thank you, Tanya. My bloodline leads out of the country. No, in our bloodlines are national treasures and should be treated as such. I think there's a way to do your genealogy through the Mormons, actually. I like that. I like this, Tanya. Our bloodlines are national treasures and should be treated as such. Woo, that's fire. I think I'm going to leave that there and close out the broadcast because I got 2 minutes. And I try to keep these under 2 hours because StreamYard makes me cut my broadcast down when I go over. They will only let me share. Oh, that really doesn't matter. Because it's memorialized here, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay. Let me see if I can read a few more. Angela, I don't understand. Why are we not suing for genocide? Make it make sense, please. Hi, Harmony. Family. I do believe that some of that's in the works. I can't talk about a lot of what I know from working in the background. But just because, let me just put it like this. Just because you don't hear about that going down, don't mean it ain't going down. Okay? So just know that there's a lot of things that are happening in the background with the grassroots reparations movement that you guys aren't privy to. If you want to get involved, you can email me at therepperspect@gmail.com, scrolling in the bar below.
But a lot of things are happening, family. Some I know about, some I don't even know about. But I can't share a lot of things live and in the Twitter spaces and in the Racebook. I can and on ScrewTube. I can only push my protest voter strategy because I've only got about a year to at least reach 25% of the vote swinging in the direction of closed border candidates. So it's going down, baby. It's going down. Black Americans have a case. The U.S. government deliberately did not follow the recommendations of the Kerner report. Come through, sis. You bringing all the fire and the smoke. You're absolutely correct. Our government at every branch is complicit in our current genocide. These are their plans, okay? Everything in the U.S. Criminal Code describing genocide is what have been done to freedmen and their descendants. Harmony, please email me. Please email me. We need your brilliance and your beauty in this fight. With that being said, family, let me do our spiritual treatment. I'm going to leave that up because that's fine. Let me do our spiritual treatment and pray us out so you guys can get on with your day. So as I mentioned on every live, you can get a tall white candle, either write this or type it out and tape it on your candle and you let it burn. When that one burns out, you light another one. Do the same thing until we break this cycle. We must lift our never-ending Holocaust into the spirit so that we can both have the strength to keep going with this fight and that we can break this oppressive ethno-genocidal plans exclusively for our people. We can break this cycle and we can boomerang it back to the people from which it came. With that being said, family, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths in and out. We're going to breathe in love for Black American freedmen, Negro, and our allies. And we're going to breathe out peace for the same. With that being said, and then we're going to become still, and I'm going to read this and pray us and put a prayer of protection over us. So with that being said, let's take our breaths, a deep cleansing breath. Inhale. Love, release. Peace. Another deep inhale, love. And let's exhale, peace. Another deep cleansing breath together, family. Let's breathe in love. Let's exhale, peace. Let us become still. Repeat with me or within you the following. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the police officers, the race soldiers, the deputized, CPS Child Protective Services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, the CIA, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states, across all timelines, realms, and dimensions known and unknown. And so it is, family. And so it is. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Black American freedmen, Negro, and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, You are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. If no one's told you today how much they love you, know that I love you, Black and American freedmen, Negro strong. Yes, I do. And until we meet again, family, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Father's Day, rest of your Sunday, rest of your Juneteenth celebrations, family. And until we meet, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, and reparations, family. Let me find my outro. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate each and every one of y'all.